It's the perfect time for Porsche. Brian Harris has your 2016 Porsche Cayman, now only $599 a month for 36 short months. The timing is perfect at Brian Harris Porsche on Airline and online at brianharrisporsche.com.
WBRZ News 2 at 6.
This is what the residents of White Castle deal with.
Chief Investigator Chris Nakamoto detained and charged while trying to get public records. Good evening. Chris has been reporting extensively on the White Castle mayor and how he received a large pay raise.
Continuing his coverage, Chris went to White Castle today to obtain a missing part of his public records request. Instead, he left with a criminal charge. This is what the residents of White Castle deal with.
Cuffed, charged, denied public records, and told never to come back, all while doing his job. Around 11 a.m., Chief Investigator Chris Nakamoto and photojournalist Joe McCoy arrived at White Castle City Hall to get one missing part of a public records request Chris filed with the city of White Castle Monday. It was a three-part request. Chris wanted copies of an ordinance about Mayor Jamar Williams' salary, an audio recording of Monday's town council meeting, and a copy of his car mileage compensation paid by the city to Mayor Williams. The News 2 investigative unit has reported extensively on allegations Mayor Williams' salary increased $22,000 over the course of a year, and if it was done properly. In order to investigate those allegations, Nakamoto must follow the money through a paper trail and interviews with various city leaders. Back at City Hall late Wednesday morning, less than 10 minutes after Nakamoto walked into the lobby to ask the city to fulfill the missing part of his request, he was back outside, empty-handed, without the public record he's entitled to. He asked his photographer to join him inside to document the lack of transparency.
Can you get Ricky to come up for us?
This time, most office clerks weren't available. Most walked to the back of the building and out of the camera's view. And about 15 minutes later, one person escorted a White Castle police officer from the back and into the lobby. He turned around and eventually entered again to confront Chris.
How y'all doing?
Hey, good. How are you, sir?
Good. Let me have y'all step out here for me.
For what?
You go ahead.
For what?
Because you know you guys need to come.
We have a right to be here.
I'm gonna have y'all step out. I'm asking you to step out.
On what grounds?
They're asking you for you to come.
Okay, this is a public building, sir. We have a right to be here. I put in a public records request, and we have a right to be here. That's about line. I'm here to get our public
Please
records.
stop recording.
News 2 didn't stop recording because in a public building, anyone is well within their right to record in a common area such as the lobby. Chris asked again why he needed to leave.
Yeah, you guys.
We're not leaving.
You're not leaving. Okay. All right.
Can I get out?
Well,
Excuse me.
I did ask you nicely. So, in that you are refusing to leave.
Okay.
Okay. So, right, put you under arrest for remaining after being forbidden.
Okay. Go ahead. We're in a public building. We're trying to get our public records. Simply ask them to give us our public records. So if you want to arrest me, go ahead.
And the officer did.
Go ahead, put your hands behind your back.
Chris was whisked away.
So what are you arresting me for?
Because I actually
Next door to the White Castle police station.
No, I actually stay out here.
Sir, this is a public building too. You get arrested.
Still in cuffs, Chris was escorted inside. Our photographer was denied access, and the door was shut behind them. About an hour later, Chris was released. He received a criminal charge for trespassing in the lobby of a public building while trying to obtain the public records anyone has the right to get.
Quite an eventful day, but we must not lose sight of why Chris was there in the first place.
Yeah, and he's joining us now with details on what's actually at the heart of this story, Chris.
Yeah, what happened inside is something I've never experienced before, and you're going to hear exactly what happened inside that police station in a moment. But first, the mayor has given us a questionable explanation in the past about his salary, and we've continuously tried to get more information. Here's what led us to keep questioning the mayor about what he makes.
Questions remain tonight about these documents the WBRZ investigative unit showed you back in January. Even more questions after I was hauled off in handcuffs for following up on a public records request involving the mayor's salary. This was the mayor's explanation 2 months ago outside of a court hearing.
Let's talk about your raise.
Huh?
What ordinance was approved for you to give yourself a raise?
We'll talk about that after the case is over. We'll talk about this after.
Can you give us that? Tell us that.
We'll talk about that after. We'll talk about this after.
Let's talk about it right now. Why do you not want to address the people of White Castle right
it's
now?
not that I don't want to address them. It's just that I'm waiting until the court case is over.
Last week, a judge issued a stern order in a case over the town's refusal to share public information with citizens. The judge ruled White Castle must produce public records and ordered the town to pay for attorney fees in that case. The town clerk in charge of those records, Monica Hamilton, made a mad dash away from our cameras back in January. Check registers obtained by the WBRZ investigative unit show big discrepancies with what Mayor Jamar Williams is earning. In April of last year, he earned about $20 an hour. That's about $40,000. But take a look at what happened in November's check register. His salary increased nearly 20% to almost $25 per hour. That's more than $50,000.
Oh, I didn't give myself a raise. I can't give myself a raise.
Okay, so who approved it? Because the city attorney has no record that happened.
Huh? It's in the budget.
The city attorney has no record that happened.
It's in the budget ordinance. It's in the ordinance.
She said she had no recollection.
Oh, I don't have anything to do with what she said, but it's in the ordinance.
She would have to write the ordinance, right?
Huh?
Now the city attorney is saying she was on maternity leave and wasn't quite aware of what happened while she was out. On Monday night, the town council met to address amending the mayor's salary after questions were raised things may not have been done correctly. We were at City Hall in the lobby today to check on those records.
And speaking of those records, 2 of the 3 requests were fulfilled. You were there getting that one request. Were fulfilled. You were there getting that one request that they had not sent in last night. Whenever you were inside today, what happened whenever we didn't see the cameras rolling the first time you went in?
So as you saw, he shut my photographer outside. Joe McCoy, I work with him almost every day. He shut him outside. He escorts me into this interrogation room, starts asking me questions about what happened. Then he read me my rights, gets on the phone with someone and said, I just arrested the newsman. And so what happened next was, I guess someone asked him on the phone, who was it? He didn't know. But then the secretary who was back there in the police department said, that's Chris Nakamoto.
2 quick questions for you. Who do you think called the cops, number one, and have you heard from the mayor today?
We don't know who called the cops while we were in there, and no, we have not heard from the mayor. We had asked him for an interview. We also had asked through the city attorney whether or not she could get in touch with him so that we could talk to him about this. Never heard anything.
Unbelievable. Chris, we'll have much more coming up tonight at 10. And speaking of 10, we watched the raw video of the exchange with an attorney. He'll share with you what your rights are when you are pushed around by powerful people like Chris was today. That's tonight on News 2 at 10. Chris, thank you.
WBRZ Director of News Lee Polachek says WBRZ stands by Chief Investigator Chris Nakamoto. This is first and foremost. The public expects this news organization to ask tough questions and hold the powerful accountable. Our reporters are not going to be intimidated by public officials when we are getting you answers. Station management is looking into all legal remedies regarding this incident.